So is it your first time here today?
Yes, this is my first time to this gala dinner.
What is your opinion about the charity itself?
I think it's fantastic from the work I've seen so far, the variety of the projects, but also the scale in the different countries as well. It doesn't tend to stick to certain regions.
It's nice to see that it's not just the children the charities are for, it's for the widows. And they're the ones that are struggling the most in these Middle East countries who have lost their husbands, they've lost the main breadwinner. So for the charity to help the widows to start micro businesses is fantastic.
So what do you know about LFT and what are some of the things that impress you about the charity?
Well, I've come to know a lot more about it recently. I'm impressed with the work that it does, especially I think the fact that it likes to enable people rather than just to hand things out to them.
I support the charity Al Ain Foundation, which support the victims of terrorism in Iraq, the orphans. And through my work there, we heard about this charity and we coordinate with each other and we are helping each other.
I think one of the major things that I'm quite impressed with the LFT is definitely the management side of it, the way they decide to organise all these activities, raise all that money, and then you start to provide back and, for example, do the water project that they've done in Africa. And it's very impressive how they're so well organised and so efficient.
Just one big family. إن الأبرار يشربون من كأس كان مزاجها كافورا عينا يشرب بها عباد الله يفجرونها تفجيرا.
I am, the man said. I am the religious leader of this village. We had a water problem previously. We did not get water to accomplish our daily prayer. You know, we pray 5 times a day as a Muslim, but we did not get the water to wash ourselves before praying. We even had the problem, the man said, of water to wash the dead bodies of our relatives before their burial. He went on, for those who do not know this problem, it seems easy, but it's not. We, the residents of this village, the elders, the men, the women, youths, including children, suffered a lot due to a shortage of water. How we as human beings drank from the same water source as animals. We used to drink dirty, contaminated water, meaning our children became sick and couldn't go to school. But thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and thanks to those people at the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust, we have got this water, clean water. Thank you. Now, as you probably realize, those are not my words, rather the words of Sheikh Muhammad Abdullahi, an imam at a rural Ethiopian village. Now, because of the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust's rural water supply project, which completed earlier this year in his village, Sheikh Abdullahi was able to say those words. This sustainable project reduced deaths, reduced sickness, even reduced the time women had to go searching in nearby areas for clean water, sometimes taking 3 to 4 hours every day, and instead gave dignity so that they could wash, drink clean water, and bury their relatives in peace and cleanliness. This, to my mind, epitomizes the outstanding, stupendous work this charitable trust does day in, day out across the globe. and which we are here to celebrate this evening. With that, I say to you all, good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I bid you all peace and blessings on this occasion. My name is Muhammad Ali Gokul, and it is my distinct honor and privilege to be your host this evening as we embark on a journey. An evening, I hope, of entertainment and laughter, of compassion and, God willing, life-defining, life-changing action. Welcome to the 11th Lady Fatima Annual Gala Dinner. Now, before we start, it's customary for the person in my position to do a few pieces of housekeeping. I intend to stick to the orthodoxy, so just a couple of quick notices. Could any Manchester United fans please kindly refrain from talking about the football match that'll be happening down the road in a couple of weeks' time? We don't need to hear any more about the FA Cup final. And also, ladies and gentlemen, we have a London mayor called Sadiq Khan. I never thought I'd be hearing the day when that happened. Yes, indeed, a round of applause. First order of business I read on BBC, changing the capital's name to Londonistan. How about that? I heard as well, this is from a top aide, and this is coming right from the top. I heard an aide telling Sky News earlier today, out with Boris bikes, bring back the rickshaws. We have Sadiq Khan in City Hall, ladies and gentlemen. But seriously, folks, I saw a couple of people walking outside with shirts adorned, #YesWeCan. Now, we're going to have, this is a highbrow event. We're going to have to fix up on the sartorial front. But here we are, on we go. What better way to commence proceedings than by inviting the chairman, the managing trustee, the founder of the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust, a man for whom I have a great deal of respect, a man for whom passion for this organisation positively oozes. Please join me with a round of applause and welcome Amir Uncle Amir Ali Karim to address us all.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Ayatollah Sayyid Professor Fadl Milani, Nicole Tung, our keynote speaker for the evening, distinguished guests, our supporters, ladies and gentlemen, Salamun Alaikum and good evening. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to the Lady Fatima's 11th Annual Gala Dinner. Firstly, I must thank you all on behalf of the trustees and the volunteers of LFCT for being here with us. 19 years ago, the trustees embarked upon a mission to eradicate poverty and suffering. What we could see around the world shocked us, and we asked for your help. You did not let us down, and you continue to support us. For this, we say our first thank you. As of today, together we have helped and lifted nearly 1 million people out of poverty. We have quenched thirst and provided clean water to nearly 1 million people. This is part of a continuing success story. Some of these successes include the LFCT has sponsored 180,000 orphans around the world. We have supplied Ramzan iftar in Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, Iraq, Pakistan, Kenya, and refugees in the Middle East. Over 300 goats have been distributed in Pakistan, Pemba Islands of Tanzania, Ethiopia, under microfinance project. To date, we have provided 300 water wells in Asia, Africa, and Middle East in the name of Bibi Sakina alayhi salam. This is equivalent to supplying water to over 500,000 people. Currently, 10 more wells are under construction in Pakistan. Over 45 students have been sponsored to qualify and trained as nurses and doctors under LFCT Education Appeal. So far, 6 have qualified as nurses and 3 as medical doctors. Over 520 refugee students have been assisted with school fees, uniforms, and school equipment. 450 small businesses have been set up with our microfinance appeals, and now we have a new microfinance project in Lebanon. The LFCT has trained 20 Lebanese widows and poor ladies on how to stitch and are creating beautiful dresses for ladies and children. Today, we are lucky to have some of these garments brought by Sister Ahlam from Lebanon here on sale with us. These are on the microfinance stall outside. These are being sold onto widows in Iraq at cost price, where Iraqi widows are selling them from house to house or to traders. All profit made is kept by the widows themselves. The project is unique in Iraq and has helped and uplifted 350 widows as of today. Every week, more are joining when they see how beneficial this project is and how others are benefiting. It is hoped this project will also help the widows' children to become more business-minded and have dreams in the future of supporting themselves. During my last visit to Karbala, I met Yusuf, an orphan, whose mother is one of the widowed women from Iraq. He said that when he grows, he would like to be a businessman like his mother. I'm also pleased and proud to inform you that Ayatollah Said Milani has visited the microfinance shop and has given his blessing and complimented too. I want to tell you another story of a young child called Saif. He's only 1 year and 8 months old. Saif is a happy child, full of life, but he has been through great trauma and needed the help of generous LFCT supporters to get through this difficult time. Saif was born with a birth defect on his right ankle. Although doctors tried to seek solution, it was decided that Saif would suffer less in the long run if his leg was amputated above the ankle. Saif was brought to Imam Al-Hujjah Hospital in Karbala, where thanks to your support and your help, he had a synthetic limb made and fitted. Saif will now be able to walk again and has begun to adjust to life with his prosthetic limb. Sometimes the real impact of the trust work is best told through the voices of beneficiaries. I would like to share with you 2 individual voices from one village from Oromia National Regional State, Jinar District, Ethiopia, where clean water facility was provided. I quote, first, I'm the woman representative in this village. We women are used to carrying the burden of challenge. It is women who do a lot of work. It is our duty to fetch water. Culturally, men expect the women to look for the water. We used to wake up before the dusk to go to the old well where we used to fetch dirty water. Our children were starving because of water. We had to travel long distances to find clean water, and by the time we came back, we were tired. We spent more than 3 hours to look for water. After this spring well is constructed and provided to us, it is us women who have got most relief above all. Allah bless you all. Unquote. Second one, I quote, as every one of us knows, water is life. It is difficult to live without water. What hurts us is the shortage of water. We spend much of our time worrying how to get water and from where. We are not developed because we waste our time that we ought to spend for other developed programs in search of water. After we have got this water, we have started to think and other issues, and our kettles also get water. Thank you, Allah bless you all. Unquote. I am extremely proud to be part of LFCT. I received a heartfelt email just a few weeks ago from a valued supporter, which I would like to share with you. The email said, and I quote, there is no way to sufficiently appreciate how LFCT manages to assist people who live under almost Stone Age conditions by partnering with local charity organizations working in these remote regions. I've never heard of the Oromia National Regional State in Ethiopia before receiving the photographs of the trust work there, and I assume that 99% of people did not either. A long cheer also to the organization that works in this region. MashaAllah to their dedication as well as their skill. May Allah bring many donations for projects in this region so that people there can have at least the most basic facility of our modern age. I hope that you too are as proud as this supporter as I am to be part of this trust. The fight against poverty and inequality is still unbelievably high. Too many lives are still being affected. If the world were 100 people today, 23 would have no form of shelter, 17 would not have been able to read, 13 would have no access to safe water, and 1 would be dying of starvation. The world today is facing with challenges on a global scale, and challenges that call for us to work together in partnership and collaboration. All that we have achieved so far has been possible because of our partner charities working together, and most importantly, people like you giving your hard-earned cash. The Sustainable Development Goals call that no one be left behind. Together we can play our part in making this a reality. Every single day, because of you, nearly 140 lives are being saved from poverty or suffering. That's a 1/3 in this room being saved every day. During the course of this evening, you will continue to hear more about the ambitions and achievements of the Trust. Finally, dear guest, I would like to conclude by saying a heartfelt thank you for being here tonight. It is through your generosity that our work is possible. As the numbers of appeals keep increasing, I pray the momentum of the Trust grows in proportion, starting with your help, with you helping us reaching our target, and the target is the same of last year, which is £250,000 being raised here tonight, and I think that is possible. We are not going to give up. We will leave no one behind. So let us make a difference again tonight. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Amir Uncle, thank you so much. Amir Kareem brings something home to me. What's possible when a few like-minded people with a vision, with a dream, with an ambition come together and say, you know what, forget the odds, we'll do what we can to shape the world around us. And as trailblazers, I have a great deal of time for Amir Kareem and all the trustees. Could we have one loud round of applause for all the team at LFT, please? I also have time for people who use their talent, their grit, their gumption to attack injustices. And our next act is such a performer and such a person. Sana Al-Yemen has great talent as a writer, as a poet, and as you'll see, as a performer. And she uses this and hones this to attack injustices and cuts through the extraneous and tackles them with candor and honesty and hard-hitting reality. Please join me in welcoming Sana Al-Yemen, aka Sanasino, please.
Thank you all for being here today, and thank you for the organizers for inviting me. I'm honored to be here for such an amazing cause. Lady Fatima does the Trust does an amazing job helping people around the world, and I was more than honored to come and do my bit to make this night. I'm gonna do a poem called This Is Not My Islam. Some of you may have heard it, others will hear it now, and I hope you like it. See, too many layman preachers are teaching our angry youth all about how to hate and divide rather than love and unite. They come with a message written in blood. Their call is arrogant and their approach is rough. They project majesty on the pulpit, but they don't know much, and yet we lend all ears. We send our guns and we gift our tears. We turn a blind eye to the genocide, and they live with pride as we live in fear. Of what? See, it's becoming quite sad that we would rather keep stum when we've been told to forbid all bad from wherever it may come. See, my crusade is against those who manipulate the message, split my people in half and misguide the masses, support criminals and justify it with a random passage, because what's knowledge to parrots? And what's humanity to humans with inhumane intentions? They shout verses of war, but verses of peace aren't mentioned. And we are quick to question our own logic, and we are quick to question our own emotions and hearts, but the words of the Sheikh, no, they can't be questioned. My people are busy fighting a cause. My people are busy fighting a cause, and you come with your ignorance and create widespread war. Your misinformed tweet is causing outright war. You're exposing Group X and exposing Group Y. Facebook-like page is causing outright war. How can you sit there and tell me to kill believers? How can you sit there and tell me to kill believers and expect me to take heed of your call? Are you my prophet? Are you my prophet? Are you gifted with divine guidance? These kids think they can fail their school life and redeem themselves by growing a beard and inciting violence. Why is it my duty to fight your wars? Why is it my duty to fight your wars when your sons are protected when they leave your doors? Is jihad only jihad for those beneath your feet? Is jihad only jihad for those beneath your feet? I'm sorry, but I too have been blessed with logic indeed. No man is immune from criticism, it's evident. And the length of your beard is no measurement of your piety. We are equals in the society. If my blood is cheap, then your blood is cheap. When you spew hate speech, we respond with love speech, because that's the message I've learned and hope to teach my seed for thousands of years. For thousands of years, our coexistence has been sacred. And now you want to pop up with your made-up hatred? Isn't that bid'ah? Innovation? Did God send you revelation? Did the Prophet tell you his message needs reform and renovation? Did the whole world misinterpret Islam? Did he mean genocide when he said salam? Did he mean kill when he said do no harm? I don't recall him ever saying ransack, pillage, and murder those of Ahl al-Kitab, Christians and Jews. Christians and Jews, other sects believe in the Lord. Think twice before you slice more pieces with your damn sword, because we've stopped creating life. We've stopped creating life to build more coffins. I suggest you kids just write your own book and elect your own prophet, because this rubbish you preach is not my Islam. This hatred you preach is not my Islam. This barbarism you speak is not my Islam. This message you tweaked is not my Islam. See, my religion orders me to send and receive peace. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum Salam. Thank you so much.
Amir Uncle mentioned one of the microfinance projects in Lebanon and the stitching of clothes for that project. One of the attendees today has very kindly agreed to showcase for you one of these such dresses. So keep an eye out during starters. She'll be walking around showcasing that garment. I think back to where we were last year, and I can't help but think that this last year has been a bleak one for us all. Whether it's ISIS and displacement in Iraq and Syria, speaking of which, bleakness, Syria and the poor state of that country, and then the refugee crisis which has spilled onto our shores, it truly has been a testing time for us. And so despite all our opulence and all our technological advancements, we still struggle with fundamental questions of destitution and of conflict. Here with us today to speak about her experiences of these issues firsthand, we have a very special speaker, our keynote speaker. She is a philanthropist, I'm sure she's a philanthropist, she's a photojournalist who has covered conflicts in Syria and Libya firsthand, who has shone light on the darkness of some of these places around the world for publications such as the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. Nicole Tung's photojournalism is able to capture that which all great photojournalists are able to do, evince an evocative response with hard-hitting, uncompromising, unflinching candor. Her work, I believe, is testament to the notion that a picture can speak 1,000 words. Please join me in welcoming with a loud round of applause our keynote speaker, Nicole Tung.
In 2011, as the fervor of revolution and protests swept across the Middle East, Syria joined the chorus of chants calling for the removal of their president, Bashar al-Assad. Unlike Tunisia or Egypt, the downfall of the government there did not come swiftly. Unlike even Libya, Western powers did not come to the Syrian opposition's aid when civil war began. What ensued has been nothing short of the most violent and brutal war that is having ramifications across the world, and an exodus of people that has created the worst refugee crisis since World War II. A country tearing itself apart with the help of many an outside power. There, amidst utter destruction, there was and still is so much humanity to speak of. But as the war drags on, hope is increasingly in short supply. This is what I witnessed. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you so much for having me here. Good evening. Over the past week, I've been thinking about how I would show the scale of suffering in Syria to convey or reflect in even the smallest way the reality of what is happening on the ground. Many of you, I understand, are very close to this issue and have family ties to the region. While my focus here is Syria, I think it is necessary to remember this is only a portion of what is happening and that the larger events happening on the ground also extend to places like Iraq, Yemen, and even further from the region to places such as Central African Republic and South Sudan, where peace on the political stage does not always mean life has returned to normal beneath it. I'm a freelance photojournalist and have been covering Syria over the past 5 years, from both inside and watching from the outside. I went into the country repeatedly over a period of a year and a half as the conflict spiraled ever further into chaos and revolutionary ideals became ever more murky. I sometimes describe Syria as a black hole. Many people who I met during my time there have simply disappeared, never to be heard from again, and the only memory of them I can savor is perhaps a meal I shared with them, a laugh, or a terrible day on the front lines when my friend Abu Said guided me through his neighborhood of Salahuddin, through the narrow streets as government tanks shelled the buildings nearby. They shelled the buildings nearby simply because the neighborhood had been holding peaceful demonstrations against the government. Others have been injured or have lost loved ones, but no one has been left unscathed. Syrians are among the most hospitable people I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and despite their hardship, the constant fear and grief, they always managed to retain their humor and hope for better days. I remember spending hours on end with some of the doctors in various hospitals in Aleppo, hearing them speak about their experiences of treating the wounded as sirens wailed outside and cars screeched to a halt outside in front of the hospital. The doctors, on alert, would always quickly but politely finish their stories with a smile on their faces, exuding hope and a kind of light at the end of the tunnel, only to face pools of blood the next minute as fatalities streamed in and lives hung in a delicate balance. In this war, no one is considered innocent. 2 of the 3 hospitals in Aleppo in which I spent a lot of time have now been destroyed. One of them just last week, the Al-Quds hospital in the Sukkari neighborhood. A deliberate airstrike targeted a medical facility, killing over 17 people, including one of Aleppo's last pediatricians. That hospital was a lifeline to many civilians who have remained behind, providing emergency care to the war wounded and medical services for non-war related illnesses. In seconds, it disintegrated into dust and rubble. War has such multifaceted consequences for those who live through it. In Syria, the human toll has become the symbol of failure to negotiate peace. Many times I asked Syrians how they thought their war started. How did neighbors who were friends, who intermarried, turn on each other? How is division sowed to result in such horror? The numbers are hard to fathom. Official estimates put the death toll at 260,000 dead, but the figure is likely closer to 500,000. That equates to about 11% of Syria's pre-war population. Death has become so common, so normal, that a family who invited me into their home one night for dinner described why they didn't want to flee. Because this is our home, they said, and if we die, we die. The truth is, many people just don't want to leave because they fear living in refugee camps, and they fear what lies ahead, an arduous task of trying to rebuild a life somewhere else. Many who remained behind just simply hoped for good luck and prayed that God would save them. Even the children grew used to the rhythm of the war. During several freezing cold days at the end of 2011, reporter Janine De Giovanni and a videographer Patrick Wells and I huddled in the living room of a sheikh's home in Tariq al-Bab neighborhood of Aleppo, where we had been staying. Their younger son, Mustafa, who couldn't have been more than 10 years old, acted as our neighborhood guide, fending off the naughty kids who jeered at the journalists and walking us to a nearby hospital to count the fatalities. A little boy whose world was drastically changing around him, yet he remained so calm, as though everything were nearly normal, but shivered all the way home. Nearly 14 million Syrians are in need of humanitarian assistance, and every day as the war grinds on, life becomes cheaper somehow. Heritage, centuries old, is lost forever. Hundreds of thousands live in camps, and still more in informal settlements in Lebanon, Turkey, and Jordan. Most refugees believe they would be there temporarily, but are now in their 5th year of limbo, dependent on food vouchers and the aid they can access. On the inside of Syria, there are subsidized bakeries by whichever militia controls the neighborhood, and the bakers who continue to defy the odds by keeping their shops open to feed the people, often being threatened for doing so. Far too many times, bakery lines have been targeted. Only civilians stand in those lines. In one instance, in 2012, up to 60 people were killed when an airstrike hit one particular bakery line, wounding 70. As people had stood in line for over 8 hours under the baking sun, waiting for bread. Not only have people's livelihoods been destroyed, their futures have been greatly compromised. Children are growing up in camps and are seeing so little opportunity, especially as schooling is so disrupted. The education system in Syria has all but collapsed. 3 million children have dropped out of school since the start of the conflict there, and 1 in 4 schools have been destroyed nationwide. An estimated 25 million years of schooling have been lost, leading to soaring rates of child labor and child marriage, particularly amongst refugees. Children have become inured to the violence, so that childhoods, too, have become lost. This is creating a generation of uneducated children who will not have the full means of rebuilding when peace comes. An era of darkness reigns, figuratively and literally. Over 85% of the lights in Syria have gone out since the start of the war, plunging much of the country into an extended night. These pictures were taken over a period of several weeks in Aleppo in 2013. They were taken from the opposition-held areas of Aleppo, where after nightfall, I would go out into the street with my Syrian friends and try to convey in some way, photographically, what it felt like, the eeriness of living in darkness. Most of the lights came from flickers of cars or flashlights, creating an eerie specter, a kind of suspended animation of a city that once bustled with life. When I look back on these pictures, I try to imagine what Syria was once, when night fell and the lively city throbbed with commerce and social gatherings. The darkness can speak so many metaphors of the situation there. And what is the situation now? Over 6.5 million people are actually internally displaced, meaning that they have had to leave their homes but have remained within the borders of Syria. Many receive nearly no foreign aid. Food aid often ends up in the wrong hands, and medical supplies are constantly in dire shortages. It is the only conflict I can think of in recent memory where international organizations have not had a major presence on the ground. Many areas continue to be besieged, and starvation is used as a weapon of war to force both civilians and opposition fighters into submission. In the winter of 2012, I met dozens of families who had no other choice but to live in farmhouses and often ancient caves, some of which dated back to the Roman period. Many cannot afford to flee or fear the impossibility of living in a refugee camp, so they choose to live where they can, moving once, twice, sometimes 3 times or 4 times before they find shelter in a relatively safe place. But actually nowhere is safe. Their livelihoods have regressed generations, and they forage for firewood, sometimes foraging for food, yet made what they could of the situation. Those who have managed to flee from the country often don't fare that much better outside of it, despite there being less violence. Last year, over 1 million crossed the Mediterranean Sea, and at least half were Syrians, the majority of whom crossed via Turkey. The symbol of the refugee has become the orange life jackets, often piled up in the thousands, and one in particular on the island of Lesbos in Greece. The circumstances there have led to people to take their children and elderly into flimsy boats and risk their lives, and that is nothing short of desperate. Over 1,200 people have died this year alone attempting to cross the Mediterranean, with 400 deaths occurring in the Aegean Sea alone, along the often perilous route of only several kilometers that separates Turkey and Greece. Each person joins in the long line of constant waiting and seemingly endless flow of humanity. Last December, I followed a family on a short part of their route that took them from Kurdish Syria to Germany, where they are now. I met them in Lesbos and took the ferry with them to Athens, and then the long, arduous bus ride to the Macedonian border. And through broken Arabic, I could piece together their story and the frustration of the long journey west, the boredom, the confusion, and the fear, especially for the young children they traveled with. Each person has an individual story, and each family has a story. Many arriving on the European shores with nothing but clothes, with the clothes on their backs and perhaps a phone in their pocket, and barely enough money to buy a little bit of food. And yet many more remain in limbo in Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and Turkey, collectively absorbing nearly 4 million refugees in total. With so much focus on the migration crisis in Europe, there is a severe lack of funding for the projects to support those who have not made the journey west. In fact, it is the desperation in the neighboring countries from Syria that often pushes people to take illegal means to move on seeking a better life. They remain, though, in urban slums, abandoned buildings, in prefab or tented camps, exposed to winter storms, spring rains, and the blistering heat in the summer. The most vulnerable eke out a life of misery, and it is easily the women and children who suffer the most. 1 in 4 households are headed by women, according to a 2014 UNHCR report. Women reported to have so little money that they forego buying food in order to buy medicines instead for their sick children. Even with food vouchers from various NGOs or government-run programs, it is not enough to make ends meet, and the public fatigue over this epic crisis has only grown. For the children, they make do with what they can. At first, it seems fun to be in a camp, traveling on the road, and then hardship settles in where life is suspended and their home becomes a tent. They are at the mercy of the weather and the political atmosphere. Many kids that I spoke to often only had one desire: to go back to school, to see their friends. There are so many aspects in which refugees can be supported, and there are so many issues that need to be seen individually, from addressing psychological counseling to helping those with injuries, to helping women acquire what they need for their families without having to choose between food and medicine. Following the news closely in Syria and watching in horror and helplessness, I do believe there is so much more we can still do collectively, and even when peace talks or truces continuously fray. We can do this especially for the most vulnerable, living in increasingly tenuous situations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Nicole. It's difficult to truly understand the scale of the upheaval which Nicole spoke about. 11% of a population gone. Houses lost, heritage lost, hospitals. I don't know if any of you saw the video of the hospital bombing on Channel 4 News, which Nicole referred to, but it's difficult to truly understand and comprehend and come to terms with the level of distress that Nicole spoke of. If, like me, you're feeling moved to do something to help the Syrian people, or indeed help people in displaced or conflict zones around the world, please do reach deep into your pockets later on when we have the pledges section, and together we can do something meaningful to help people who really do need our support. The next item on the agenda is from the Lifesaver team. I'm not going to say much more to introduce them. They'll give you a bit of background themselves. Individuals in the crowd who've been here in previous years will no doubt remember them. Please give a warm round of applause to the Lifesaver team.
Good evening. First of all, can I just thank Karim and the organisers tonight, not only for putting the event on, but also for the invitation to be here and talk to you all. What you've just seen is not unusual to us. The Lifesaver world is one where we help those who can't, unfortunately, under normal means, help themselves. 20 years ago, there was 1 billion people, 1 billion people in the world who suffered without access to clean water. In that same period of time, the mobile phone has gone from a 3-kilogram shoulder bag to something we run our lives by. We were questioning 20, 30 years ago whether we actually landed on the moon. Now we're selling tickets. The world has changed, but unfortunately today, there are still 1 billion people on the planet that don't have access to clean drinking water. And as you've just seen, whether it's a refugee crisis, whether it's a small community, the onus of that problem falls onto family. The solution for that problem falls onto, generally speaking, the women and the children. Sick children can't go to school. Sick children need to be looked after in the home. Somebody needs to be there, and unfortunately that, most often, is the female member of the family. So working hand in hand with organisations like Lady Fatima, we're trying to change not just people's perceptions, but we're trying to change the results. You don't have to take clean water and transport it all the way over here. If you've got water here, the Lifesaver technology will clean that. It will make it drinkable. Families that are spending money on medicines that they can ill afford because of the condition of the water, we can stop that. And we stop it all because technology has advanced to allow us to now do that. This seems very simple. It's water. But we take it for granted. We'll go home tonight, we'll turn our tap on, we'll be able to drink what we find. A lot of people around the world don't have that luxury. And especially when that water, and I always hate doing this before we've eaten, so I do apologise. But I'm just going to put some, little bits into this water that actually will be more of a reflection about the kind of conditions that people come across day in, day out. That's their reality. Their reality is they don't have that tap they can turn on. They don't have anybody else to be able to allow them to drink that. Tonight, I'm going to drink that for you using our system. This bottle contains two things. It contains a filter, and it also contains a pump. And what we do is, using the pump, is we apply pressure into the bottle that then allows the water to come out so it's drinkable. So that water we just looked at down there, I'm now going to put into here for you. And remembering which the clean cup was, we'll put in a little bit of pressure. And out into this cup. I hope you can see that. Out into that cup, which once looked like that, now looks like that. Cheers. We can change the outcome for families, we can change the outcome for women and children, we can change the outcome for people's health. The more people that know about Lifesaver, the more people who share the vision of my friend Mr. Kareem and others will help us to get there faster. I look forward to working with you all. I wish you very much the very best for the rest of your evening. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much indeed. I can see a lot of people reaching for the Coke on their tables. You can drink the water as well, don't worry at all. You know, this year, our confidence in charities has been shaken, and for quite good reason. Whether it's the kids' company fiasco, or reports of rising complaints against purportedly corrupt charities, the British public's confidence has been eroded to some extent. But friends, we need not have any such concerns here tonight. For the ethos, the integrity, the values of the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust have never been in question. Now tonight you're going to hear plenty of numbers, all sorts of figure work, many a statistic, primarily I assume from yours truly. But of all the numbers you hear tonight, there's one, just one, which is more important than all the others. 100. 100% is the amount of your pledge, of your donation, which goes towards the desired project. Not a single penny is mitigated, obfuscated, lost, unaccounted for. No, because the LFT's 0% administrative policy means that not a nickel or dime goes anywhere but to the people who need it the most. And in a world where 1 billion people don't have access to drinking water, every single penny counts. And so when I call upon the Pledges team to come forward and ask you to be as generous as you can be, please bear that number 100 in mind and know how far your pledge will go. Now, on your tables in front of you, you should all have an envelope. And alongside that envelope, or perhaps inside, a pledge form. It's really important that when you all, I hope, complete this pledge form, you state very clearly, preferably in block capitals, your name, your table number, your contact telephone number, along with all the other details required on there. Now, Mr. Ajmal Masroor, who I've had the pleasure of sitting next to and getting to know a little bit during the course of this evening, is a man whose CV, well, it's fairly long, and I don't think we have the time to run through it all. Suffice it to say, he's a man who's a local imam, who's been broadcasting from the BBC to Islam Channel, who's been involved in local constituency politics, and he will be conducting the pledge section tonight. Can we welcome him with a loud round of applause?
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. My dear brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you very much. I always love this concept of salam. You spread peace. You feel peace. And no matter how angry the person in front of you is, the moment you have extended the offer of peace, I can't think of any other way of disarming a person than this wonderful greeting. So I want to disarm you tonight, not because I'm threatened by you, not because I'm worried that you will do anything to me, but because I want to dig deep into your pockets, as deep as possible. And disarming is what we need before we start that process. Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I want you all to count 20 seconds with me. As I say, when I say start now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. In that 20 seconds, a child somewhere in the world has just died because of lack of access to clean water and food. I don't know about you, but every time I do this, my heart stops. I freeze by the thought that in that 20 seconds, a child has died somewhere in the world. And it pains me greatly that when we have the technology available, money at our disposal, transportation and means to reach Mars and beyond, we can't reach those poor children of the world more widely and more freely. I've been asked and tasked to do this job. It is not a job that I take lightly. There is a very particular verse that often inspires me. It's in chapter 76, verse 8 and 9. وَيُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ لَا نُرِيدُ مِنْكُمْ جَزَاءً وَلَا شُكُورًا. For those of you who understand this in Arabic, you will know the meaning of it instantly. And it says, and those who give food, however great their own need be, unto the needy, the orphan, and the captive, saying in their heart, we feed you for the sake of God alone. We desire no recompense from you, nor do we desire any thanks in return. That's why you are here today. You're not here for the poor and the needy to thank you. You're not here for the poor and the needy to give you something in return. You're here to give because you believe in giving. Ladies and gentlemen, I have lived in Syria, traveled across Syria extensively. And in my experience of being in Syria, like our keynote speaker talked about, the most hospitable people on the face of this earth, that has been my experience too. And every time I think about Syrians, I cry a lot because I know I could have done more, but I didn't do enough. Every time I think about Syrians and other people of the world, Iraq, parts of Africa and Asia, I feel like weeping because I know I could have done more, but I've not done enough. Weeping alone is not going to do anything. What we need to do is put our money where our mouth is. Really dig deep and help. How fortunate are we that we will have 3-4 course meal at this event, enjoy ourselves, we'll be able to travel back to our own homes in the comfort. I'm not saying you shouldn't. You should enjoy and be grateful for what you have. But we should all share in the goodness, in celebrating the goodness that we have, in showing gratitude by giving what we have. A little bit, not too much. So when Lady Fatima Trust asked me to come and help them, and they said to me, if I could come and get the pledges going, I readily accepted. I've been here before, 2 years ago, And I still have a vivid memory of your keynote speaker. I remember his words, I remember his body language, for I've never been moved so much by a refugee. A boy who became a refugee when he was a Palestinian boy escaping to Lebanon, living in caves on the back of lorries and the hull of boats and ship, and now becoming the United Nations ambassador for refugees. I'd never been moved so much when I came and I'd listened to a speech in my life than the one I came 2 years ago. So I'm very grateful that you gave me the honor to come and witness our keynote speaker's photo presentation today. So I want to ask you all, what can you do with your fortune and the opportunities that you have to help those people in different parts of the world? I'm going to ask you to journey with me. I've got 20 minutes, I've been told by the stern host of the night. He's wonderful, Allah bless him. What we can do tonight is, when I was waiting outside, I saw the cars driving in. And I realized, Alhamdulillah, you have good fortune and good wealth. If I auction one or two of those cars, we'll go a long way tonight. But luckily, I had nothing to do with your car parking tonight, so your cars are safe. I'm asking you to voluntarily, from the goodwill of your heart, because you seek only the pleasure of God, you only seek return in the hereafter, you only seek the celestial return rather than the earthly, you seek the heavenly pleasures rather than the earthly. I want you to dig deep into your pockets and give. Give without hesitation, for giving shall make your return bigger. So tonight, we're asking you to give £10,000 to do something very simple. If you give £10,000, if one person gives £10,000 tonight, purchase equipment to fit out a new cataract operation theatre at Karbala Eye Clinic. You will sponsor 25 orphans for 1 year. Purchase 5 taxis or 10 rickshaws for the microfinance program. Teachers training course, for 20 teachers in Pakistan. Support microfinance initiative for Syrian refugees. So many things your £10,000 would do, and yet a £10,000 cash in this country, in our great country, will probably barely get us a decent car. This is life-saving for people. For those of us who have eyes, we know the value of eyes. Recently, my doctor told me, in fact, when I was leading Jum'ah in my local mosque, and I had my phone and I was reading my notes like this, in the front row there was an optician. After prayers, he came and he shook my hand, gave me a hug and said to my ears, Imam Saab, I think you need to come and see me. I said, why? He goes to me, you need new glasses. And I was doing this. When your eyes go, you know the value of the eyes. When cataract happens, which is just so simple operation, and yet many people don't have the opportunity, that simple operation can transform their life from being blind to seeing the world. Sponsoring orphans. Imagine the orphans who sleep on the side of the roads, sharing roadsides, the bushes, the alleyways, the roundabout. I've seen it with my own eyes. They share with animals, cats, dogs, stray animals, some of them very venomous and lethal. Imagine how you transform the lives of those children. Purchasing 5 taxis, 10 rickshaws to change and make people stand on their own feet so that they're no longer dependent on your donations. Teachers training courses for 20 teachers in Pakistan so they can continue teaching and making the world better for tomorrow. When you teach a child, you free that child from poverty forever. And supporting microfinance initiative for Syrian refugees. All of that for £10,000. We're looking for that one fortunate person, one blessed person, one blessed business, a family who would like to take that pledge to themselves. Yes, I will give is what you are thinking about right now. You know, ladies and gentlemen, when I take my children to fundraisers and they sit with me at the front, and every time I say, who wants to give? They're the first ones to raise. Today they're not here. Because children feel the connection of wanting to give. It's natural. And you do feel the same. So don't hesitate, but give tonight. For the return, I can't give you. Return will be waiting for you in the hereafter, in the Almighty's record, for you, for all the good things that you've done. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. Good and bad, you shall see, and goodness of today will become your witnesses tomorrow when you go and face your Lord. And tonight is the time when we should try and rise to that challenge. Is there anyone here tonight? Is there anyone here tonight who would like to give £10,000, make that pledge and make that happen from themselves or their families or their businesses. We're looking for that first hand, first pledge. Anyone here who feels brave enough to take the first step? The first one is the most difficult one, I know. But once you've done it, the rest of us feel relieved because we can join you in the great work. Is there anyone here who would like to? Wow. Give him a massive round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Table 4. Wow. May I ask your name, sir? Mr. Al-Khatib. Wow. You have not only inspired me to continue, but you've inspired the rest of us to feel that we will, inshallah, do very well tonight. Thank you. Allah bless you. Give your family much return. Best of this world and the hereafter. Please say Ameen. At least we can do that, right? Inshallah. Thank you very much, Mr. Al-Khatib. £10,000 from here. I'm looking for, go on, another round of applause, please. A massive one. He deserves it. Wonderful. I'm looking for a second hand. Not second hand in the sense of second hand, but hand number 2. Who would like to be the second person giving £10,000 tonight? Surely Mr. Al-Khatib should not be on his own. We should all join him in the good work. Looking for a family, a business, an individual, a consortium of people who would like to give £10,000 to make a difference in the life of the things that we have listed earlier on. The cataract operations, the sponsorship of 25 children, the teachers training, the microfinance program, and so many things you will do with £10,000. Who would like to donate £10,000 or make a pledge of £10,000 tonight? I'm looking for at least one more hand to go up into the air and say, yes, I will. Or I will try my best to raise that money. You know, you can make that pledge and raise it from your friends and your families. It needs 10 members of your family to give 1,000 each. As a family, come together and give. Perhaps as a table, say, I will give £10,000 inshallah tonight. The target is simple. You need to make that pledge. £10,000 we're looking for. Anybody else would like to join us tonight giving £10,000? I don't want to dwell on it for too long. £10,000, anyone else? I'm looking for 10,000. MashaAllah. Thank you very much. A massive round of applause to my dear brother here. And may I have your name, sir? You don't want us to have your name. Allah bless you. And Allah accept it. Say Ameen. And another round of applause for the donation of £10,000. Allah accept it, inshallah. Remember, both are allowed. You can keep your name anonymous or you can declare it if you like. I don't mind either way. I've got 2. I surely have a third person here tonight who would like to give £10,000. And then I'll move on, I promise. I won't badger you anymore. A third hand wants to give because they want to seek the face of Allah. They want to feed those poor and the needy of the world, not because they want gratitude or thanks. يُطْعِمُونَ الطَّعَامَ عَلَى حُبِّهِ مِسْكِينًا وَيَتِيمًا وَأَسِيرًا, because they love Allah. إِنَّمَا نُطْعِمُكُمْ لِوَجْهِ اللَّهِ, because they have this desire not for this world, but the hereafter. Do I have a third hand? I do. Oh God, a massive round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen at the back. Wow. If you want to tell us your name, you're welcome. Tell one of the volunteers, then shout at me. Yeah. Ghulam Mehdi Somal. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghulam Mehdi Somal over there and his family. May Allah bless him and his family and give them in abundance the best of this world and the hereafter. 3 hands at £10,000. Wembley is doing well tonight, alhamdulillah. We're doing very well indeed. Well, it's a good day to celebrate, right? After yesterday's election. Oops, am I getting political now? I won't. I will stay neutral, inshallah. Celebrate because we are all together. Over. 3 hands so far. Anybody else would like to give £10,000? Anyone else would like to join in this great work? £10,000 once? We have. What is your name, sir? Hasnain. What a beautiful name. Ladies and gentlemen, give Hasnain and his family a massive round of applause. Wow. I am grateful. Thank you. Allah bless you and give you much in return. 4 people giving £10,000 and transforming the lives of not 1, not 2, 100 orphans already. Look at that. 100 orphans. Cataract operations, teachers training. I'm so impressed, so amazed. That's 4 people. Looking for one more hand. 5, and then that's it. 5 would take us to £50,000 in a very short period of time. Anyone else would like to join in this great work in transforming the lives of people? You know, the food that we eat becomes part of us. The money that we spend in our clothes and our goods stay on this earth. What goes with us is our good deeds. And the best good deed is charity. For charity is what makes you and I so unique. Who would like to be the last person giving £10,000? I was about to say £50,000, but no. £10,000, anybody else? Once, £10,000 twice. And for the final time then, £10,000, anybody else? Tonight, anybody for the last time? Okay, let me make your life easier. Let's go to the next slide if that's possible. Wow, we've already got £70,000. Where did that come from? Come on, give yourselves a massive round of applause. I'm counting £50,000. 70, wow, wow. Number 2, those of us who are thinking £10,000 is a bit too steep. £5,000 surely is a good enough donation for not all of us, but those people who need it most. Support construction of 4 water wells. Water wells could transform deserts into green, give life to people. Anybody who would like to do that would be amazed, as the return is amazing. 12 orphans for 1 year, train 2 nursing students under the Salima Memorial Appeal, and provide sufficient drugs for 4 mobile clinics in Lebanon for 1 year. Drugs, we're talking about medicine, just in case you are worried about what we're talking about. Those are the things. For £5,000, is there anyone here who would like to join and give £5,000 and support Lady Fatima Charitable Trust with its work? £5,000 we're looking for. Changing the lives of those people will be your achievement. It's called Sadaqah Jariyah. It remains even when you're gone. It's called ongoing charity. Oh, hello, young man or young lady. Who is this? Hello, what's your name? Yusuf, give Yusuf a massive round of applause. Wow, Yusuf, well done. Well done to you. And how much do you want to give? 5,000, right? Wow. I hadn't seen 5,000 when I was your age, but well done to you and your dad. Give his dad a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, and his family, for that is what we need to do, encourage our children. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I will tell you a story about my own self. When I was young, I used to work in a newsagent. When I was at my first job at the age of 14. And I used to earn £1 an hour. My first week's salary was £17.50. I came home with the envelope and I gave it to my dad. My dad, this is my salary. He took it, put it in his pocket and walked away. He didn't give him anything back. So in the evening at dinner time, I said to him, Dad, I gave you my salary, my first ever earning. He said something very interesting. He goes, I'm really sorry, son. I didn't give you anything in return. But I had done something with this money. When you took this job first, I prayed to Allah, made dua, Ya Allah, if my son sustains this job, and if he gets his salary, first week's salary, I'll give it away in charity. So I've given it away in charity. What do you say to your dad after that? I said nothing. Then he said something more powerful than this. He said, and I made dua that, oh Allah, keep my son in the path of charity for the rest of his life. Ladies and gentlemen, that's when I was 14. I'm 44 today. 30 years later, I'm still fundraising. The dua, the power of dua, power of prayer from your parents is beyond belief. So what you've done, my dear brother over there with Yusuf, is an amazing thing. May Allah bless Yusuf. Say Ameen. And give another round of applause to Yusuf and his family. For anyone else who would like to do the same, join us. I'm looking for £5,000. Let Yusuf not be on his own. Who would like to be the person joining Yusuf tonight? One hand over there, I can see. What is your name, sir? Sultan. Inshallah, ladies and gentlemen, give Sultan a massive round of applause right at the back. Allah bless him. Allah give him best return in this world and in the hereafter. Hayatan tayyibah to all our donors, inshallah. Who would like to be the next person giving £5,000? We are at £85,000. The person is not updating fast enough now. I'm catching up with you. 85. Who would like to be the next person giving £5,000? £5,000. An imam came to his congregation and he said to the congregation, I've got good news and bad news. What would you like to hear first? And the congregation said, good news. The imam said, I'll give you the good news first. The good news is the money that we need to raise for the extension of our mosque, we have got it. They all said, Alhamdulillah, fantastic news. He goes, the bad news is the money is in your pockets. Can I have them, please? Ladies and gentlemen, I have good news for you. £80,000 or 85. We need a bit more from yourselves. Is there anyone else who would like to give £5,000? Let's go to the next slide if possible. Let's go to half of £5,000. If my maths is right, it's £2,500. Is that right? Oh, £1,000. Well, good, well done. Thank you for giving everyone a good discount. £1,000 will get you to dig a water well in India, Pakistan, provide 100 mattresses to Syrian refugees, sponsor 3 orphans for 1 year, sponsor 1 deaf child at school in Gaza, provide 50 families with a solar light, and fund 65 cataract operations, £1,000. Let's see how many hands we get for £1,000. Who would like to start us off at £1,000? Lady over here. Your name? Give her a massive round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, first donation for the night for £1,000. Well done. Allah bless you. Allah give you hayatan tayyiba. 1 hand at the front. I'm looking for a few more hands. So £3,000 from the same table. Ladies and gentlemen, 1 table is giving £3,000. Wow. That's a brave table. You see, sisters, some of you are thinking, I need to consult my husband before I give. Let me give you a fatwa tonight. The fatwa will be, just listen to the fatwa. When your husband and you earn, the sisters, when you earn, your money is your money, correct? But your husband's money is your money. So give tonight without even asking them. It's your money, right? It's a fatwa from me. Is that acceptable fatwa? He said it is acceptable, alhamdulillah. Good. So who would like to give £1,000? We've got 4 plus 3 is 7. I'm looking for a few more. There is a joke, a man was trying to pay his bus fare. He couldn't find his own pocket, so he gave money from someone else's pocket. So, you know, you can try that tonight. We have £100,000, ladies and gentlemen. Give yourselves a massive, massive round of applause. Wow. 100 you said, right? You said 100 before, we should remember the number. We are at £100,000, but I want to go more than 100 before I get off the stage. Last donation for tonight of £1,000. Last one. Everyone who has given, of course, just to finish off, £1,000 donation. One more. Thank you very much. Right at the front, ladies and gentlemen, this handsome young man. Are you married? Are you married? He's not married, he's single. Anybody looking? Here is a good man. I'm just joking. He'll pay me a lot of money after that, you see? Okay, let's move to the next slide. Let's move on to the £500. Who would like to give £500? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Right at the front. Thank you very much. Allah bless you. Anybody else? £500. Somebody said to me the other day, can you find me a husband, please? Sorry, find me a wife, please. I said, what kind of a wife are you looking for? So he gave me a long list of things. So I said to him, wow, if I find such a woman, I'll marry her. He goes to me, you're married already. I said, so who? Such an amazing woman, if she does exist, I'll be the first one to marry. So for those of you looking for marriage, hello, wake up. £500 do I see over there? Do I see a hand? I saw a hand at the back. Thank you very much. Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. £500 at the back. 2 hands I have for 500. 1 £500, then we will get to something amazing as a figure. We just need 1 more £500. 1 more £500? Over there, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. You were waiting, my dear sister. 500. £110,000. Come on. Give yourselves a massive, massive round of applause. Let's go to the next slide if we can. At £100, surely we can all give 100 inshallah tonight. I think we should all give 100 if we can. So put your hands up if you want to give £100 and then put the details down in the envelope. Go on. Put as many hands. 1 hand over there. 2 hands. 3 hands. 4. Thank you very much. 4. Thank you. 4 hands. I'm looking for as many hands as possible. 1,300. Thank you. 13. 14. Thank you very much. 1,400. Anyone else? 1,400. £1,400 so far. Louis Hussein Organization give 400. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a massive round of applause. 400. Another 100 here. Thank you very much, my dear sister. Right at the front. £100 over here. Thank you very much. Another £100. Thank you very much. Another 100. Another 100 over here. Another 100 over there. You give, God will give you in return. So thank you very much for being so kind and so generous tonight. Giving so much money. We have raised 112,800 so far. Give yourselves a massive round of applause. Everybody, come on. £112,800. I'm done for the night, and I'm very grateful to you for your amazing, generous, and supportive hands and encouragement. Thank you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We've clapped a lot at his urging, but can we have one loud round of applause for Mr. Ajmal Masroor, please? They say every great speaker has his moment. I've been known in the past to take my moment and stretch it into an hour. With dinner coming around, I won't make that mistake. Just a few very, very quick pieces of business. First of all, you've all dug deep into your pockets. But money isn't the only way you can support the Lady Fatima Trust. Outside, there's a gentleman called Khalid. He is signing, in sign language, this entire this entire program. What an astonishing effort. You can support this organization in so many ways. Next to him, there's also a gentleman who's going to be riding 100 miles on his bike. I urge you all to pay him a visit, dig deep into your pockets once again, and sponsor him generously. We heard the lifesaver speech earlier. If you want to pay for one of those magnificent, outstanding bottles, it costs just £120. There's a water stall outside in the exhibition area. £120 will purify water in places of the world we haven't even heard of. The auctions will be coming up after dinner and salah. Please acquaint yourself with the auction items with the booklet on your table. And lastly, very lastly, we have magnificent stores outside. Please do visit them. And I promise you, you'll be spellbound. Prince Abdi is a Somali-born British stand-up comedian and actor. His comedy, this is Prince Abdi I speak of. Prince Abdi's comedy has been described as being original, confident, refreshing, pacey, upbeat, and infectious. Abdi had football trials with Millwall FC and Dulwich Hamlet Football Club. However, he abandoned the sport at the age of 15 after incurring a serious knee injury. Ya Shafi, commiserations, Your Highness, Prince. But this is the bit I don't get, Abdi. Did no one tell you could have trials at Arsenal? You would walk straight into the first team with a knee like that. But there you go. Please join me in giving a regal welcome to our next act, the comedy of Mr. Prince Abdi.
Thank you. Salaam alaikum. Very nice to be here. Everybody well? Yeah, we've got a new London mayor. A Muslim guy too. Damn. Ha! We're taking over. Very nice to be here. I came all the way from Brixton. The postcode doesn't work here. Did anyone try to do a postcode to come here? It doesn't come up. I was like driving around for like an hour trying to find a place. But it is very nice to be here. And yes, that's where I'm from originally. I'm from Somalia. Anybody else? I know it's a long shot, but I thought I'd ask. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Me and my family came to this country in the 80s on a 2-week holiday. Still got another week to go. I felt sorry for the immigration officer. He was so welcoming and so warm. We had a different agenda. He was like, you guys are here for 2 weeks. We were like, uh-huh. We'll have a great time. We will. Then he stopped us, like, because he saw us all of our bags. He goes, hang on a minute, there's 5 of you and 17 bags. Like, yeah, we know that. We're here on London Fashion Week. So that's where I'm from. I love doing stand-up. I really enjoy it. Usually I perform in comedy clubs. I haven't done anything like this before, but this is nice. This is nice. My last show I did was on a ship. My manager booked me to do a gig on a ship. I'm from Somalia. That is a place you don't port. I had fun with it, though. It was about 500 people, Indian Ocean. I went on stage. I was the first act. And all I said was, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Prince Abdi. I am from Somalia. I've never seen people so scared for their lives. They genuinely thought I was going to hijack the ship. People got up. They were like, where are you taking us? I was like, relax, guys. I'm not a pirate. I'm your captain now. So that's where I'm from. But I'm British, yeah, I'm British. Yeah, I got my red passport. Yeah, I went to America recently, and I'll be honest with you, growing up, I always wanted to be like Black American, but now I changed my mind. Black British is much better in this country, so much better. This is how great it is being Black British. Today, I went for a run at my local park. I'm just going for a run early in the morning. Police officer sees me. I think he was just having a bad morning, right? And he shouted to me as I'm running. He's like, slow down, young man. Slow down now. I didn't listen to him, and I'm still alive. Being Black British is much better. I love traveling. It's good to travel. I went to South Africa. Never been to South Africa before, but I went through Dubai, and as I'm walking towards my gate to get my connecting flight, I get stopped by this big, Arab guy. Just stops me out of everyone, right? Just stops me. And for a joke, I just said, "Is it because I'm black?" And he said, "Yes." I was like, "Thanks for your honesty." But then I went to South Africa. Anybody been to South Africa before? Yeah? It's all right. I like it. It's a nice place. Yeah, I had a great time over there. I'll be honest with you, though. I was there for a month, and I experienced a little bit of racism. Just a tiny bit. And I'm one of those people, I'm not ready for it. This big white guy just looked at me and he went, "I don't like blacks." I panicked. I was like, "Yeah, I don't like them either." He did not see that coming. He was like, "Aren't you black?" I was like, "No, this is a birthmark." I shouldn't have said that. I should not have said that. But I had to get out of the situation. What are you two talking about? Hello? She doesn't know I was on stage. She just looks at me like I was a TV. She's like... So where's everyone from? Is anyone here from South London? Anyone from South London? No one is from South London? Oh, hello. Are you from South London? Can I get a lift after this? I live far. I live in Brixton. It's quite far. I've got a teenage brother. He's at that age now where I'm trying to trying to teach him well. He's 15 years old. And he's just a bit, I don't know, he just hangs about with the wrong people. So recently, he lives with my parents. Recently, my parents told him to come and stay with me because they just had enough of him. I don't know what he did wrong, but he came to stay with me, right? He's at the door. I was like, "What are you doing here?" And he went, "They kicked me out." I was like, "Who kicked you out?" He went, "Mum and Dad." I was like, "I know they kicked you out, but what happened?" I kid you not. He went, "It's because I'm black." Yeah, that's my brother. I'm quite worried about some of these youths of today. Some of the things they come up with. I was on a bus recently, and as I'm on the bus, there's two youths having a conversation. I'm listening to their conversation, right? Pretending I'm not listening because I didn't want to get involved, but I'm listening. I was quite concerned of one of the youth, how he came up with the concept of what he was saying. So basically, he looked at his mate, and he went, "Hey, bruv, I got new business, bruv. I got new business." His friend was like, "What kind of business, bruv? What kind of business?" It was like, "We go to rich areas, yeah, and when rich people are not looking, we steal their pets and keep it hostage." I'm listening to this. Then the other youth goes, "How is that a business, bro?" He goes, "Rich people love their pets, so once it's gone missing, they're going to advertise it with a reward. That's when we take the pets back, and we get our cash money." I was like, that is not a bad idea. If I had the guts, I would do it. I'm not perfect. When I was growing up, I didn't, I joined a gang when I was 15. That wasn't supposed to happen. No, it wasn't really a gang. I just wanted to be cool, right? At 15, sometimes, I joined these gang, and my dad had no idea. So he got me a job at the local library. I had a double life. I was a gangster librarian. And then, I used to just hang out with them. I just wanted that respect to be cool and be around these boys. But then they started doing things I was not comfortable with, like robbing people. And that's when I was like, I need to get out. But then one day, one of the leaders was like, "You've got to rob someone today." I was like, "Oh, God." Yeah. And then we were walking. We saw this guy walking towards us. He was like, "Right, we're going to wait for you here. Go and rob that guy." I was like, okay. I had to be confident as well. I went up to this guy. I was like, "Give me all your money now." This guy was calm. He was like, "You work at the library?" So I don't work at the library. He goes, "Yes, you do." Then he changed the subject. He was like, "By the way, I want to return 3 books. What's your returns policy?" I had to answer. I was like, "Yeah, it's 28 days. But this guy was really nice. He goes to me, I know what just happened to you. The gang have asked you to come and rob me, right? I was like, yep, that's right. He goes, okay, I'm going to do you a favor. I'm going to turn around and run off. We get to the end of the block. Then you tell the gang that you couldn't catch me. You've lost me. I was like, that's a great idea. This is a true story, right? Only problem was, this guy was the slowest runner in the world. He was like, you ready? I'm like, yes. He turned around, then he fell down. I was like, get up! It was embarrassing. Yeah, I like London. I've been traveling a bit, like I said. You never know what's going to happen in London. Like, yesterday I was on a tube, and this guy got on wearing a suit, right? And it just started, like, it was quite a packed train. I don't know if you ever had this, but it's one of those, like, he was just preaching, like, to people. People just came from work. People didn't want anyone to preach to them, right? People were just on their way home. Gets on, he started preaching about Jesus. He started going, Jesus loves you. Jesus saved you. Jesus died for your sins. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Next stop came, half of the people just got off. They had enough, went to a different carriage. That guy sat down, looked at us, and he just went, I just needed a seat. This guy's a genius. And that guy was me. My feet hurt. I've got to go soon because I have another show in September. Well, I love doing stand-up. In my spare time, I like to watch movies if I can, and in particular, I got into Bollywood movies. I don't know if you've seen them. I love Bollywood. They're amazing because they're so unpredictable. I was watching a Bollywood movie where the husband was telling off his wife, right? And then she started crying, backing away from him, and then they started singing. I didn't see that coming. As soon as the wife comes, husband loses it. He's like, "Are tumhare bata tu undar hai? Are nahi hai, nahi hai, nahi hai." Then the wife starts crying, backing away, explain herself to him. Are bata nahi tha. Are nahi, nahi, nahi. Are bori aadi are. Wow. I did not see that coming. Then I thought the wife was going to run away. She doesn't. She comes forward, starts singing along. She was a nutter. She's coming forward. She's like going. Oh, hello. She's just staring at me. Hello. How old is she? 9. Oh, she's so cute. Oh, where's Madonna when you need her? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. Oh, so cute. I'm getting heckled by her, baby. She's getting more attention than me. I like to do this sometimes because I haven't been to Wembley for a long time. The last time I was in Wembley, I was like not far from the stadium, and there was this big Cockney geezer just walking towards me, and he wanted to know where the stadium was. Right? I could have just told him, right? But instead, I behaved exactly like him. I put on the same accent. I had the same persona. I don't know if you've got any Cockneys in, but when Cockneys talk to you, they cannot stand still. He just came over, was like, excuse me, mate. You know the stadiums, right? Stadium, you know the stadium, right? Stadium, mate, fine. Stadium. And then he starts singing for no reason. Stadium. I couldn't help it. I was like, yeah, mate, just go left, chuck a right, stand there, mate. Hey! He just looked at me and he went, something's wrong with you, mate, and just walked off. I did that with a Nigerian tourist in Leicester Square as well. I was in Leicester Square, and this Nigerian tourist with a big camera came over to me innocently, just asking me. He's like, my brother, please, I'm looking for Leicester Square. I couldn't resist. I was like, you are looking for Leicester Square? My brother, you are here! And he just looked at me, he's like, what is wrong with you? I don't know. My brother. I do that sometimes. I got this local restaurant, and it's run by all these geezers, you know. They're always talking about, too many immigrants in this country, you know what I mean? Too many of them, too many. So what I like to do sometimes, I like to call them up and order a takeaway with like the same accent as them, and then turn up. So I'll be like, yeah, mate, can I get a couple of pieces, please, mate? Too many immigrants, mate. That's why I come to you lot. Then I turn up, and they'll be like, was that you? I was like, no, just delivering.
Oh, she's so cute.
Any questions? I like getting the bus. Like I love London transport. I just like getting. You never know what's gonna happen to the bus as well. I saw this guy recently. This is a true story. This guy was wearing a bumblebee costume. Only in London you'll get this. People just dress up. I think he was in a stag do, and I think he went wrong. He was by himself. He was like very drunk as well. He just walked on without paying. Then bus driver called him back, and he came back, and he looked at the bus driver, and he went, "What?" Bus driver was like, "Are you going to pay? Have you got your Oyster card?" And he went, "No." Bus driver was like, "Why not?" Then he went, "Because I'm drunk. Otherwise, I would have flown home." Another time I saw this guy, he couldn't find his wallet. I couldn't find his wallet anywhere. When the bus came, he just walked on, making the Oyster card sound. I'm like, this guy's a genius. The bus came, I kid you not, and he just went, boop. Even the bus driver was like, "Thank you." Say thank you. Guys, thank you so much for listening to me. I really genuinely need to go. Enjoy the rest of the evening, and this is a great charity, great cause. Thanks for coming out. The show hasn't finished. There's more people on off to be, I believe. So thank you very much again. My name is Prince Abdul.
Mir Uncle Kareem has a very wonderful announcement he'd like to make. Can we welcome him back onto the stage, please, with a round of applause?
I stand before you to make an announcement on behalf of the lifesaver whose demonstration you just saw. They are really impressed with the work that Lady Fatima is doing, that they are donating a CO2 tank which will filter the dirty water that you have seen, 5 million liters of water. On behalf of you all, I would like to thank sincerely to the Managing Director, Matthew Lee, who is sitting over there, for his generosity towards the Lady Fatima Trust. The value of that CO2 is £15,000. Lastly, for your information, Lady Fatima has bought one CO2 from Lifesavers, and we have already exported to Iraq. And inshallah, next month, it will be opened on the banks of River Furat, as close to the shrine of Hazrat Abul Fazl al-Abbas. Thank you.
Professor Malcolm Molyneux, OBE, is here with us today. Professor Molyneux is here with us from Blantyre, Malawi. Now, not only is the professor a leading expert in malaria, and specifically pathogenesis and severe disease amongst young people. Yes, I learned that last night. But moreover, he's received acclamation for his services to medicine and care in Malawi. Now, the hospital, the Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Malawi, has first-hand experience of the work that this charitable trust does. Recently, the charity installed 4 water units, providing amenities to staff and patients alike, giving great benefit to the hospital. Shortly, I'm going to invite Professor Molyneux to come on stage to talk a bit about his first-hand experience with the charity. But before that, I believe we have a short video showcasing some of the work. So if we could have the video up, please.
Queen Elizabeth Central Hospital was built in 1958 and at that time was considered a state-of-the-art facility in Malawi. Nearly 60 years later, the buildings are cramped and the wards overcrowded as a result not only of the HIV epidemic, but also because of a nearly 5-fold increase in Malawi's population. The wards are no longer able to meet the needs of sick patients or the medical staff that work there, let alone the patients' carers and families. The physical condition of the hospital's plumbing system has deteriorated to an unstable state with blocked sewage systems, leaking pipes, overflowing toilets and broken showers. The sewage system is infested with rats and vermin. These conditions present significant cross-infection risks and make the lives of very sick people even more miserable. A poorly maintained system that was built decades ago for 600 patients now has to cope with up to 2,000 patients, as well as their carers, like Moses, who spent 2 weeks at Queen's looking after his brother who had a tumor removed from his leg. Thanks to the generosity of Lady Fatima Charitable Trust, LFCT, renovation of the plumbing system across the hospital began in August 2015. It is a 6-phase project. In 2015, phases 1 to 3 were completed. Phase 1 involved the renovation of the external plumbing system as well as the internal plumbing of the burns and pediatric wards. The pediatric special needs and ablution block was refitted, as were the male and female ablution blocks on the burns ward. Phase 2 saw the renovation of the pediatric oncology ablution blocks. Before then, the facilities were unfit for use by healthy adults, let alone children suffering from cancer. Imagine taking your little boy or girl into this toilet. Phase 3 focused on the maternity ward and included the renovation of ablution blocks for mothers who've just given birth. 2 sluice rooms were also refitted, critical for obstetrics wards where the level of medical waste is especially high. This is what the surgical ward shower and toilet block looked like before the intervention from the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust. Men and women recovering from surgery were using these facilities. Phase 4 put that right. Further phases will make improvements to the adult TB and oncology blocks. Of course, none of these new facilities are any use without a reliable supply of clean water. In Blantyre and across Malawi, municipal water supply is patchy and the taps at the hospital regularly run dry. This jeopardizes infection control and the well-being of staff and patients. To overcome this problem, Chira Fund, with a generous contribution from LFCT, have installed 4 industrial water storage tanks to serve the hospital kitchen, pediatric, medical, obstetric and dental wards. Sustaining the standards of these new facilities is an ongoing challenge. Chira Fund is working in partnership with the hospital administration and other medical charities to provide additional security, cleaning products, and essential basics like toilet roll, incontinence pads, and hand soap. Like LFCT, 100% of donations to Chira Fund are spent directly on hospital projects, with 0 administration costs. The difference this work makes to the lives of patients and their families is immeasurable. It protects their safety and preserves their dignity, often in the final days of their lives. There is still much work to be done, and we are so grateful for the ongoing support of the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust.
I don't think I can tell that story more powerfully than that video has done. I've worked in the Queen Elizabeth Hospital for 30 years. My wife and I retired 4 months ago and moved back to Liverpool, where I'm connected with the Liverpool School of Tropical Medicine. I can only reiterate how tremendously helpful the donations and support have been that have improved the hospital in the way you saw. I know you don't give the money to get the thanks, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Thank you very much indeed. Not particularly from me. I've left just when all the toilets are looking beautiful, and I've worked for many years with them in a terrible state. But I do want to extend the thanks of those people who are still working there. The population is still increasing and will continue to do so for some years, and it's going to be a continuing battle to keep conditions good. Now, I'd just like to encourage you with one little message which I think this story illustrates and which I think applies to all the tremendous charitable work that Lady Fatima Trust is doing. And that is the law of multiplication of charity. Now, you might think this was a water effort, and it comes under the water table outside there, the provision of water and plumbing for the hospital. But I'd like to stress that it not only provides water, reliable water supply, and clean toilets, it makes an environment in which students can be taught medicine properly and not depressingly. So the Malawian medical students, who are now going through, for the last 25 years, we've been teaching medicine and the medical students have been qualifying as doctors, they can be taught in a pleasant environment. They can learn much better. They can feel a positive, confident future for their career that is almost destroyed by adverse conditions of the kind you saw there. So you're not only giving water, you're also giving, in effect, education. And of course, you're not only giving water and education, but improving health as well, both within the hospital and, we hope, in the country as a whole, as these trainees go out and serve the rest of the country. So my thanks are at least threefold, and I think there are probably many more ramifications of this kind of charitable help than I have outlined. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Professor Molyneux. The Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam once said, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. He said, charity is prescribed for each son of Adam, for each day that the sun rises. Friends, I request something special of you now. Let us do our bit now to fulfill that obligation set down for us, that gauntlet the Holy Prophet set for us. This organization does us proud. Day in, day out, it serves humanity in our name. It saves lives, it restores eyesight, it provides water and healthy amenities. It provides all sorts of life-changing opportunities that we can't begin to imagine for people we haven't even met and whose names we'll never know. It delivers for humanity. And now we have an opportunity to deliver for it, to provide it with the financial resources it requires to do the wonderful work Professor Molyneux and many others have discussed this evening. And so, as I call upon someone who you're all very familiar with, I ask you to lend support in supporting with the auction. And you'll have a booklet on your tables listing out some of the auction items we have with us tonight. Ali Shikara was in my position 4 years ago, hosted this very dinner in 2012. He's not only a wonderful supporter of this organization, an auctioneer extraordinaire, he's someone that I'm very proud to call my friend. Please welcome Ali Shikara with a round of applause.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, and a very good evening to one and all. So tonight we're going to start our auction with the Imam Hussein jewelry set. Now here I have in my hand a ring. I'm sure you can't see very clearly here, but there should be a picture for you. These are the items here. For those who have not read the pamphlet, it is based on a marble stone. This marble stone has been on the grave of Imam Hussein for over 80 years. And when they recently refurbished the shrine, the marble, some of that marble was taken to make this jewelry. So, Tonight we have an opportunity. You all have an opportunity to own this very rare and this very unique piece of jewelry. And on that basis, I'm going to start the bidding for this jewelry set at £200. Who here will give me £200 for this jewelry set? The Imam Hussein stone. Thank you very much. £200. Do I see £300? Do I see £300? It's a bit dark here. We have £300. Do I see £400? Thank you very much, sister. £1,000. We've got to do at least £1,000 here. £1,000? Anyone for £1,000? I need to see a hand. Another hand. £1,400 going once. Going twice. Twice and a half. Twice and 3/4. Sold. Thank you very much, brother. Next item on the list, for those who have their brochures in front of them, is an item by Sadiqa Jum'a, a very kind, a very gentle lady, an artist, who has been a very generous supporter of the Lady Fatima Charitable Trust for a number of years. This one is called On a Crest of a Wave. I will start the bid for this painting at £200. £300, £400. Thank you very much, brother. £500. Anyone interested? £500. £600. Do I see £600? £600, brother. £600. £700. It seems it is sold. £600 for the brother. Now, next up is a very exciting item. A very exciting item. We have, well, that says it all, really. That says it all. Those keen tennis fans of you out there will have some idea of the value of these tickets. If you're interested in seeing Djokovic maybe in the final, maybe witnessing history with Andy Murray, or maybe just an opportunity to witness that ridiculous draw of his, or whether you want to see Federer try to beat Pete Sampras's record, this is an opportunity for everyone. And so, because it's such a valuable item, Wimbledon finals, men's finals, I will start the bid for these tickets, these 2 tickets, at £1,000. £5,100, £5,200, please. 5,200. 5,210p. Who's going to do 5,210p? £5,400, please. £5,400. Wimbledon, finals, experience of a lifetime. All right, let's see what happens this time. £5,500 going once. £5,500 going twice. Twice and a quarter. Twice and a half. Twice and 3/4. £5,500, mashallah, mashallah. £5,600. Sold to the brother at the back. £5,500, mashallah, mashallah. We're now up to our final item. Abdul Razzaq Sadiqa is an Iranian calligrapher, and he has been trained in the traditional Islamic arts. More than 350 hours of work was put into this wonderful work of art. 24-karat gold of gold leaf was used as part of the patterns. And it incorporates a variety of traditional Islamic art techniques. I will start the bid for this work of art, this unique handcrafted work of art, at £500. £500. Can I have £700? £700. This was worth way more than this, way more. £700. I will not reveal its actual value. £700 for this work of art. 3-1, okay. £3,200. Who will go for £3,200? Sold to the brother at the back. And that concludes the auction. Thank you very much for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Amir Uncle, you're going to be drawing the prize, and I'll just tell you which one it's for now. I can see one of your grandchild is just there, so don't pick that one out. This is for his and hers premium oud set from Arabian Oud, and the winner is... Do you want to read it?
0494.
The winner is 0494. That's Zahra Milani. Do we have a Zahra Milani around by any chance? She has left. She's left without her oud. We've got a hand waving. Yes, can we have a round of applause for the family of Zahra Milani, please? Thank you very much. I'm near you. You look like you wanted to pick one out, so I'm going to ask you to pick out the next one. And this one is for a pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. A pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses. And the winner is
0270 Mustafa Walji.
0270, Mr. Mustafa Walji. There we go, we have a winner. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Right, you're going to close your eyes. Yeah? Go on. And you can do the next one. Right, this is for a spa facial. A spa facial. And the winner is
0112.
Arsia 0112. We have a hand waving. Is that a hand waving? We do indeed. Can we have a round of applause for Arsia, please? Drop it in. In fact, give it to me, actually. Thank you very much. You want to do the last one, don't you? All right. And last but not least, we have a cake from Patisserie Valerie. I can see all the sweet tooth in the house already devouring dessert. Hand in deep. No, close your eyes. I saw that. And the winner is?
31.
And can you read the name?
Isra.
0031, Sister Esra. Esra, do we have an Esra in the house? Is she anonymous? Yes? Is that you over there? Can we have a round of applause for Sister Esra, please? That, ladies and gentlemen, concludes this evening's proceedings. I would be utterly remiss if, on behalf of the organisation, I didn't extend my sincerest thanks to you all. I don't know if we know how much we've raised this evening. Do we have a rough figure? How much? £140,000? Could we have a loud salawat for that, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. All clap. £140,000 in one evening, and I'm sure that figure's going to go up as you exit. Those are countless lives you have saved and changed this evening. God bless you all. May I thank the trustees who have organised another tremendous event, the volunteers who've put on something that we will all remember. Can I thank the speakers who offered us so much information and entertainment? And can I thank you all for your generosity and your compassion? Inshallah, I look forward to seeing you all next year. I wish you a lovely end to your dessert and a safe journey home. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The opportunity to help the way we did here, I think, doesn't come that often. So I think it's an excellent thing that Amir Karim is doing. And I think may Allah grant him a long, long life.
I found it very welcoming, very nice. I loved the experience of it. I've never been to a gala dinner before, so I really enjoyed ourselves. Learned a lot about the charity as well, so it's lovely to meet new people and everything. About you?
Yeah, no, it was really enjoyable, and it was quite the information given. I knew half, but to know wholeheartedly, it was really quite inspiring. So it was an enjoyable event, yeah.
I found it very beneficial. I think it's good to bring children along as well, so they get to see the wonderful work that Lady Fatima does, and also they get insight to how others are less well off than themselves. So I think as a family it was a great experience and a great outing.
This is the first time I've been to this function, and I was quite impressed actually with the work that they do.
I was invited by a friend of mine. He is one of the organizers, and he asked me if I could contribute to this event by cycling. We were aiming for a 100-mile cycle ride. I managed to do almost 90, and we were trying to raise funds for the LFT.
What was your highlight of this today?
Comedy. The comedy and the food.
Yeah, I was going to say the food was nice.
What I really like about LFT the most is the openness and transparency of this charity. You know that whenever you give any money towards any cause, it's going to go there.